plenty of freedom under Coach Steve Alford.
Drew, his last 2 injuries, devastating. Achilles tear 2 years ago, double hip surgery last year. Harris blocked, and that's AJ.
Undersized, so he has to have great footwork and a quick release.
And the thing about Jazz Johnson, he usually ends up guarding the opponent's best guard. That's a walk. Harris launches. Rebound by Zane Meeks, who's checked in for Nevada. Meeks and KJ Himes are the bigs in the game right now for the Wolfpack. Harris has had a quiet start. Ooh, you know it's going to be a good weekend when you road trip with Hunter Thompson to Las Vegas, right? Harris misses the 3, long rebound. Zuzwa's in for his first interesting freshman out of Denver, East High School. Gets to the bucket, doesn't finish.
East High School traditionally has had some really good players. Chauncey Billups, who played in the NBA for 14, 15 years, was from East High School.
To the freshman from Aurora, puts Wyoming back up.
The further along you go in this game and Wyoming's within arm's distance, you're going to see the confidence grow.
Zuzwa. Boy, he was a volume.
This season, you mentioned the 2 close games against Nevada earlier this year. We had the one in Reno together, but they are different. They're playing with a confidence. They're playing.
Seed trailed at the half. The 2 seed was down 11 in the second half. San Diego State, the 1 seed, would win. Utah State, the 2 seed, would win. Harris goes down, and that's a trip. Colorado State, the 6th seed. Colorado State was a team that many felt had the talent
to stretch, even though it hasn't resulted in a lot of wins this season.
Thompson's miss. Harris scoops up the rebound. Nevada led by Lindsey Drew with 10. And now for the Wolfpack was essentially wait for the Martins to get doubled and Caroline to get doubled, and then you'll get a 3. And that's what he did so well for that team. He's had to change this year, create on his own. Harris guns the 3.
The tournament, and he accepted his role and excelled at it last year.
Zuzwa with a block, and then he grabs the loose ball. Good job by Maldonado on Harris. Dump off to Himes, who hits the bucket. 2:10 left in the first half. Zuzwa, my goodness.
Wow.
My goodness. Maldonado. Nevada looks to run. Johnson with the catch. Harris dumps it. Corner. Zuzwa. Yes. Harris the catch. Extracts himself. And misses the 3.
The 7-8 minute mark. Say it's a 6-point game. All the pressure then lies on Nevada's shoulders to make the correct play. You are playing with house money. Lots of question marks, but lots were answered in a positive way for Gonzaga fans. Tremendous season in Spokane.
Harris off the timeout misses. One thing's for sure, Wyoming Cowboys may be running out of magic dust here. This is a tough matchup for Nevada. It has been the 2 times they've met. They were close games, came down to the wire. This man won one of those games with a late shot. Harris did. Came down to the wire. This man won one of those games with a late shot. Harris did. And that was in Reno. Not a good pass. Foster. Harris waits for Johnson. He does one of those creative shots, but it doesn't go. And look at the hustle there by Robbie Robinson. Harris. That is a block. 11 seed, the first 11 to ever win a game in a Mountain West tournament. They beat Colorado State, and here they are. A major headache for the 3 seed Nevada.
They've done it on the defensive end, pushing out every catch.
Not bad for the 3 seed Nevada as we approach the 7-minute mark.
And the calming influence for Nevada. Lindsey Drew back on the floor. Had a struggle getting into good offense with him on the bench. Well, you can see the belief his guys have in him. Looking him in the eyes at huddles and timeouts. High fives when a good play is made. Encouragement from the sideline.
It's a 3-point game. Johnson floats it to Harris. Marble trying to get through that screen. Harris rises. Missed it. Maldonado has a miss of the front end. Look at the drought. Is approaching 8 minutes now. And Nevada does not have an assist in this half. That's a telling stat. Harris around the screen. Marble, the freshman, trying to shadow the best scorers in the West, and he misses a dunk, but
4 big threes against Nevada in the game in Reno.
Unbelievable. Harris driving, and he missed it. Marble's got 20.
Surprised the ball's not in Harris' hands for Nevada.
There's the three, and Harris missed it.
Malachi Flynn, a very confident young man who wants the ball in his hands, and he turned it over that time to Lindsey Drew, the senior for Nevada.
Lindsey Drew is one of those guys, scores as much as he needs to score, big assist guy, long athletic guard.
Came back from a ruptured Achilles in February 2 years ago to now play significant minutes this year as a challenge at the rim gets 2 and a foul, and there is Jalen Harris. San Diego State, and that for KJ Fagan, the transfer from Santa Clara.
San Diego State really shoot the ball. I mean, really shoot the ball. KJ Fagan, big-time scorer at Santa Clara, came here. Fit a roll nice, about 8.5.
Jumper for Harris won't go. These two teams.
Their transition defense has not been good.
So many shooters to pick up. Looked like he could have called a double dribble there off the redirect from Harris. Jalen Harris sizing up the defense and rolled it in. He's got 5.
Pretty good. They make the extra pass. It's an NBA type of model. You know, we got a good shot. Let's get a great shot.
Harris sinks a 3. He may be as wise to the game. That's good. Tipped and wrestled away. Jalen Harris. He wanted to slow it down and size up Malachi Flynn, who got tangled up off the screen. Harris drive got bumped, and he'll go through. He is so nifty with his vision.
All you do if you're Steve Alford is drop your head. Because the defense was there, but the defense, Reyes, didn't move his feet.
Rebound for...
Steve's got great hair. Always has. Always been jealous
of his hair.
Oh.
I mean, we're talking decades. You've harbored that jealousy now. It's coming out on national television. Very nice. Here's Jazz Johnson, the senior, to set up Harris, and he wants to go to town. Harris against Flynn, 2 wonderful guards, and he punched it outside to keep possession with 4 and 3 on the slice. Harris had it intercepted. And thrown away again. San Diego State will cavalier with the ball. Harris. And the rebound for a rope.
They were trying to keep the ball on the side, then all of a sudden the defender on Flynn got too high. Smart by Flynn.
See if Jazz Johnson can get on track. He has not scored so far. Tough catch for Harris against a rope. Double and triple came on him. And that goes down for Zuzwa.
That way, keep going one-on-one, you're going to get beat here tonight.
Nice play by Meeks off the deflection on the drive from Pulliam. San Diego State very good at getting back defensively. Harris for 3.
But Steve was a great teammate. I was 2 years older than him. He came to Indiana to be an All-American. I came to try to make the daggone team. I mean, but he led a team to a national championship. He's been a great coach, and it'll forever baffle me why Indiana University has never, not one time, called him about being their head coach.
Jalen Harris for another 3. They're 14 seed. Carolina was a 3. I believe Carolina got shipped out west that year. And Harold Arceneaux went to town.
I've seen that every year, and these are the kind of guards.
Too short. Rebound, Zuzwa. Harris, quick trigger. And the rebound to Rope.
That's a tough shot.
Site of Eddie Money's music video for Take Me Home Tonight back in the 80s. It was an empty building, black and white, Eddie Money singing along. Here in the building where Jalen Harris has owned the night, and that assist to Meeks.
Play this out, get a bucket, and you'll be all right, but still.
You want to be better than all right against the top 5 team in San Diego State.
Top 3 team coming in probably on maybe top 4.
Yeah, Baylor got punted today by TCU.
Certainly a 1 seed right now.
Oh, yeah. Jalen Harris stalking. Jalen Harris hopping. And fired. He got it! Exactly how difficult it is to win all your basketball games no matter where you are. Tough pass, and Robinson intercepts it. San Diego State's been really loose with the basketball.
I was just going to say that, Jason. Just sloppy, loose.
Reyes cradled it and scored. What?
There are people that root for other people. I don't know. I mean, what I mean by human beings is that
explain that,
everybody
please.
reacts to things differently.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't react the same way. We're all human beings. You may like that. I tell you who did celebrate it every year.
Coach Knight?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Coach Knight did.
Oh, that is a really difficult shot for Harris.
Right, but they didn't lose players.
Right. You never
Winless.
know. And that's why when you schedule, you can think you have a tough schedule. You don't know.
You really do.
You don't know. Ohio State beat a top 10 North Carolina team, and they have not been that for a while. As Harris bags another. Jalen Harris. I don't know that he's a Nevada fan.
Yes, he has a Nevada shirt on.
But does he?
I know I got hit in the head with a beer bottle one time. I know what's around me everywhere.
Very aware. After that, Harris. Oh, goodness. That's not supposed to happen.
Yelling and screaming, and he just went at Penn State.
He plays every minute like it's his final minute of basketball in the history of his career. That's going to go the other way. Oh, drive and kick. That's a beautiful find. Extra pass.
That's
no
fine.
good.
I'm telling you, that's fine. That's what I was talking about. You could run off of a man here, Seiko. You couldn't run off when Fagan and Mitchell were out here.
Fagan questionable to return with the ankle injury. That's a block. It's 2 and a foul.
I don't know that that's an offensive foul. I don't know that it isn't. I'll give the official that one.
If anything, he got him with the left arm first.
Yeah, he may have, but
Yeah.
he missed with the big hook. Here comes that same baseline action.
Zuzwa with the catch. And here is Harris, who's been awesome tonight. Jalen Harris on the drop. Step back Harris. That's no good. Came out of his hand a little bit off. Bullion with the defense there on Drew, who nearly traveled. Wetzel put his hand up along with Fagan. Harris was open. Couldn't get it off the tap, San Diego State. Vegas, the hub of conference tournament action, by the way.
What a bunch of them, huh?
Jalen Harris. Seiko chasing him. And he killed the dribble, had to give it up. He wants it back, he got it back. Both these alpha guards controlling the steering wheel, and that's turned over by Nevada.
Tanny ACC with no. This is a great win if they get it. Now there's a lot of time left.
Johnson catching, shoot for 3.
Boy, that was nice. Johnson screen.
Yeah, he's not all demonstrative.
No.
Look at the officials. He's letting everything go.
Man, I see the flying Hurley boys every day, and it's insanity.
Hard drive from Smith. No, Robinson had a shot, didn't take it.
Well, how good is he? And he tells everybody, be quiet. That's a shot spot for Flynn, Fagan. They love the little pull-up. You don't need to go crazy here.
That's a career high for Malachi Flynn. And we got a whistle against San Diego. Malachi Flynn.
Now you can go to the rim here, get it to 5. You're trying to get a one-possession game with you having the ball.
Blocked by Wetzel.
Scored well over 1,000 points in their careers, Dave. They haven't consistently made a lot of threes. Talking about Wyoming.
45% of their shots are threes, but they only get 35% of their points from threes because they're not a great three-point shooting team.
He starts the defense, and they bring offense off the bench.
That's Hunter Maldonado burying the elbow jumper, 2-2. He's smooth. Everything he does is smooth. The 6'7" Maldonado. Harris, that's a tough shot, but he knocks it down.
32% of the offense is going to go through him. Now, number 2 out here, Banks, is the best defender for Wyoming, so he gets the assignment.
Greg Milton, who had that 28-point outburst, missed his first shot. We'll talk more about Coach Edwards in a little bit, but here's a drive by Harris. Boy, he just has
10 steals. He got 21 points on turnovers against Colorado State. They need to get a little bit of that tonight as well.
Yeah, and the last 5 games, and this is testimony to, it's been a tough year in terms of wins and losses for Wyoming. They play hard. They've averaged 16 turnovers, pushing 6, more pedestrian, but Allen saw something in him and stayed with him.
You know what Allen saw? You see him do it one time, you know he's got it in him. Yep.
9-0 run. It's really a Hendricks 9-0 run, and that means trying to shake Harris. That's good defense by Harris. Got a hand in his face, stuck with him. Here's Drew.
Drew's become a better three-point shooter, but it's still not his forte. So he kind of let it go there and move the ball. There's a three-point shooter.
How good was... And Marble misses, and that didn't draw any eye. That's why you heard the sound in the background. Open 3, Harris. Down at the Air Force Academy on Saturday. The sophomore from the Sacramento area with his first make. 28-22. Harris. And if that's an offensive foul, that's just 4 points at halftime. And now, obviously, with that bucket, he has 6. But at the Air Force Academy, as Harris hits an outlet. That foul's on Harris, by the way, from behind. That's 3 on Harris. Steve Alford has not sent anybody to the scores table. Harris, who shoots a 3-ball, leaves it short.
All these and assists.
And he averages a little better than 11 points a game. That free throw he made, by the way, the first Nevada free throw of the night. Harris, there's a great rebound by Milling, and a good find. In and out, Jalen Harris. Harris is a quick jumper. He's explosive, but he gets off the floor in a hurry.
He's got good DNA. I'm a big fan of DNA. Both run him off the line because he's starting to get hot.
Cowboys make it a 4-point game. Maldonado coming on. Harris step away, Jay. And the rebound to T. 8 straight Wyoming points. Maldonado heat check. And that pass too far for Drew. Another Nevada turn.
And Hendricks was open. Side ball screen, and Johnson curls it. Got him inside.
Harris pulls up, in and out. Rebound Maldonado. 4-run for Wyoming. It's 59-47 Nevada. Here's Harris. Harris drives. Harris finishes. Weeks because Hunter Thompson has mono. Bourgeois. Good defense by Marble. Harris has it against Banks. And a foul. That's on Marble. Has been a huge factor on the offensive end of the second half. All 9 of his points. Makes it a 1-point affair once again. Here's Jazz Johnson, cut off, nearly turned it over. Harris, baseline 3. Gotta love it.
But still, Cowboys only down 3 with 2:35 to go. That's an eternity.
Here's Harris. Harris drives. Harris had it blocked by a hard-playing, undermanned Wyoming team. I don't know if they've overlooked him. Just give Wyoming credit. They played well. Hendricks has had a huge game. Harris needs help. Good find. Robinson.
Well, opening three-pointer. That's what they want to do, Steve, is spread the floor and go.
Yep, Jared Hyder, the freshman from Davian High School, hits the 3. As you look at Nevada's new starting 5, really the only holdover in the rotation. Jazz Johnson will knock down some 3s. He has the basketball now. Only meeting of the regular season between the Bulldogs and the Wolfpack, and it comes late here in the month of February. And
They're the youngest team in the league, one of the younger teams in the country. They'll play their freshmen. Justin Hudson will go to his young guys, but there's nothing like the presence. Give them a chance to play, develop, and they really have a lot of potential.
Right out of the gate, it's Hyder, the freshman, then the senior Blackwell with back-to-back threes. And the answer.
Basketball lately, they went on the road, got a nice win at Air Force, and they took Utah State. We had that game. That went down towards really late in that game, so they're playing better basketball.
3 threes in the game as Grimes gets one. The threes have been by 3 different guys, a 9-2 lead. We've seen Fresno State start out hot on the road. And while we talk about conference news, how about the big story about 500 miles south of here? San Diego State no longer unbeaten.
No, and baseline is the last pass that you give up, and that's the one that they got nailed on.
Today at the shoot-around, those two guys were talking about that. Here's Harris with a drive, tried to change hands. But we've had them now 3 times in a row on ESPNU, and it's like they're going to break through at any moment. Great offensive board there by K.J. Himes, saving the possession. And the kick out to Zane Meeks.
Crowd, but they need their team to step up.
Here's Grimes trying to quiet him with a 3. And finally, a heat check from beyond the arc for Fresno State. Harris races. Harris lays it in. At the line, and that's part of the reason why I think he's going to be the freshman of the year in the conference. They trap Drew, and Meeks grabs it before it goes out of bounds.
I like the pressure because now you take time off the clock, and you make Nevada really attack you with a short clock. I like the strategy.
A week from now, San Diego State in this building. It's going to be standing room only. Harris, how did that go?
On their heels, and that step back is lethal.
Hyder averages 9 points a game. He already has 9 in the early going. The freshman from Damien High School, which produced Jeremy Hemsley, played at San Diego State the last 4 years.
But, this time of the year, they're not freshmen anymore.
Well, how young are the Bulldogs? 22 freshmen have played for Mountain West Conference teams this season. 6 of them, almost a third, have played.
His feet down before he made the pass, but nonetheless had the presence of mind. I think everybody stood and watched.
He's so fun to watch. He was fun at Portland, too. And count it.
Tell my guys, hey, you better make that shot if you had a big guy open. But that's a good look. He felt it, shot it in rhythm, and I think that's a great step now.
Oh, Holland got away with holding Harris's jersey.
Scores inside. You have to do that. You cannot just make it an outside perimeter game.
And so we are tied at 33 inside of 3 minutes to go.
Give Fresno State credit. They climbed back in this.
Here's Harris around the Robbie Robinson screen and a block by Juve. Wow. And admittedly, he's a work in progress, but look at that size.
Steve can't coach height.
Yep. Inside to Harris and a foul.
I mean, he's just evolving. He's getting better every game.
Harris, well, first Bulldog freshman in 22 years to score 30 in a game. The last to do it, Randy Holcomb in 1998. Points per game. The transfer from Louisiana Tech. And Nevada has it to open up the second half of play. They're 17-10 overall, 10-5 in the conference. That's good enough for third place. Half game behind the idled Utah State Aggies for second place. Utah State owns the tiebreaker.
Injuries. Season opener this year against Utah in the Pac-12, a career high 30 points.
Loose ball. Wyoming.
He's going to be searching opportunities in film session where guys passed up opportunities.
I remember having a Nevada game early January, and he was still telling his team, shoot more threes. Who wouldn't want to hear that?
I know I would have.
Yes, you would have.
Need to have a conversation with Coach Few.
Yeah. You know how that one would end, though. Maldonado launches.
Rolled into the defender. That's a definite no-no. Point of emphasis from the officials this season.
Maldonado, difficult shot. Good defense.
Get back in defensive transition, and the first rule is stop the ball. Jazz Johnson isn't stopped. Is impressive.
Biggest lead of the ball game. Foster.
Maybe on the smaller side. Watch Jazz Johnson's footwork. His ability to stay on balance.
Foster around the screen, short on the jumper. There'll be some frustration that they can't get separation from this scrappy bunch.
There is a lot of credence to what you just said there, Rich. Sometimes the matchups just aren't great for a certain team or for a lot.
10.5 minutes without a field goal. You see, the biggest lead was 12. Maldonado beats Thompson, who's battled mono, hit a big three. That's Marble. Missed the three. Tip is out. You can't go to the monitor until you're under 2 minutes and a half. Shot clock at 15. Milton has come off the bench to hit his own shot. It was a big three. Hendricks has hit 4 threes. Marble driving, Marble hooking. Marble! Wyoming is out-rebounding Nevada by 1, and that's enormous.
They're not a good rebounding team, but they've come up with crucial rebounds here in the second half after good defensive stops.
That's Harris, a foul, and that's...
And he was terrific at 17 in the game. Boy, is that a big lift off the bench.
You can watch tape anywhere nowadays.
Oh, it's so comfortable. Peppermint.
KJ Fagan sinks a three.
No confidence. That's what's got him going here. Harris knows he can score whenever he wants, and Flynn knows he can get to the rim whenever he wants.
They both have the feel of guys in March. Nevada ended up in the tournament. You'd look and you'd say, oh, who beat us? Oh, him. That guy.
Exactly right. Off towards the ball, and the defense hedged, and Harris found Meeks. That was so good.
Love that you've seen it for years and years and years.
We ran it for Steve back in the day, and he ran it for his son. I mean, it's generational, that thing.
Shackle has been very quiet.
He shoots it. He defends different positions, plays with his head up, assists.
Shackle answers for San Diego.
A great set right there for Jalen Harris. A double down after he set a screen, Harris did. What a terrific move by Alford out of bounds, and Harris is just drilling everything.
His low in conference is 15. That came in early January against Boise State, but San Diego State, a little bit odd.
Sure did. He had the regular backspin and was stayed inside the rim.
They'll go to Wetzel, double came. Seiko.
I'm saying, best body language out of your star. That's got to stop.
17 in the first half for Jalen Harris, just 5 after. Malachi Flynn has tied his career high as he gives it up. 1 loss all season for San Diego State last Saturday against UNLV. Fagan step back. He cashes in.
The ball game. Little's his name in the scores book. 6-2 Nevada. That pass is broken up.
What I say is deflections lead to interceptions. Banks and Hendricks, what they've learned as people growing because of the influence of Allen Edwards. They gave him great credit for their growth as young people. Good ball 10 days ago, where the ways they did that, they forced turnovers. They had 10 steals and got 21 points on turnovers against Colorado State. They need to get a little bit of that tonight as well.
Transfer. He's a grad transfer from Boston College.
I saw him play in the ACC tournament a couple years ago, and he was playing a lot for Boston College. And came out to Reno, has done a really nice job for Coach Alford.
Banks, who generally doesn't shoot that frequently, fires it.
I'm glad it's warm in here, because outside, you said it was 11 when you came in, and that's
8. That's
8 before the wind chill.
Yeah.
It is nippy outside. I might spend the night in the AA rather than walk into my car.
That's not a bad call. Here's Milton, and he pulls his way in, gets his own rebound. A lot of things offensively. That left you goo-goo-eyed.
Alert air traffic control at DIA. He is incoming. He punched that home off the rim. Quickly. Homework early.
Hendricks got knocked to the floor away from that shot by Maldonado.
flat stuff on the baseline. See the crossing screens. And watch Maldonado come off a stagger. Oh, they posted him. And that's
on Harris. That is number 4.
Ball game in the top 10 in conference in assists.
Wyoming has never led this basketball game.
Take your time. No rush. Down 5 and maturity with a minute 16.
Hendricks got a screen for a moment from Milton. Milton try to go at Harris. Again, Harris playing with 4 fouls. Marble will inbound.
And for Nevada, 4 perimeter players, with John Carlos Reyes being the only big.
Here's Maldonado. And Milton with 9 to shoot it. A lot of dribbling. And Maldonado, a forced 3, no good. Rebound and...
Okay, you take a loss early, and when you get back to the tournament, you got that behind you. It's pretty hard for anybody nowadays to go undefeated. Just too difficult.
That Harris travel right there was the 4th turnover for Nevada here in the opening 5 minutes. Inside to Robinson. Robinson to a wide open Hyder. That's freshman to freshman. Yeah, he has been. All right, he's trying to get back. Meeks misses off the front of the rim, and Blackwell with a rebound. And here comes Fresno State in transition.
You can see the quickness of Fresno State. They really have the ability one-on-one to attack you. If you're Nevada, you've got to get in the passing lanes. You've got to get in the driving lanes. Play the gaps.
Fresno State now has 3 freshmen and 2 seniors on the floor. Hyder trying to get comfortable in that spot, misses in
very last second, and then finds his streaking teammate for the basket. Wow.
Himes is a freshman from Phoenix, and he was selected as the Mountain West Conference preseason freshman of the year, although we think Orlando Robinson's probably going to win that, with Isaiah Stevens and David Brody of Colorado State also in the discussion. Hart misfires. He has 9, second leading scorer behind Zuzwa, who has scored 11 in the first half off the bench. 5-point lead for the Wolfpack.
Important for Fresno to get a good look here. They've come down their set offense. They've got to get a much better look or get to the foul line.
They've been inconsistent when you talk to Justin Hudson, and they've not been good at closing games. They were up a dozen here in the first half. 4 to shoot. Screen high. Blackwell shoots off of it, misses it. It's the first Nevada turnover in a while. They've cleaned that up. Looking for an assist is Robinson. Tipped out by Blackwell. Here's Hart baseline. Robinson skies in for another board and gets fouled.
I love this. They're playing such good basketball, but they cannot afford to make direct line passes to the guys in the white jerseys.
That gives Nevada a 2-point advantage here. 15:50 to go. Deep 3 by Hart is good.
They started winning games after that. Our loss against us might have helped that team. So San Diego State might be in the same format. And they have an X on their back every game. They just do. So you're going to have to play through that.
Harris flying at Blackwell, but not.
That was a huge basket because it was Fresno State who'd be coming down here to try to extend double digit.
16 for Zuzwa off the bench. The Bryant transfer, the holdover, only averages 10 points a game. And Grimes, count it from.
Leave them there as long as you've got the lead, as long as you can.
On that offensive foul, a big turnover for Nevada, their 10th of the game, although they cleaned up. Only had 3 here in the second half. Hart, erratic shot. Grimes was looking for a 10th board. Instead, Holland got.
No call. They're letting them play both ends, Steve.
Exactly 2 minutes ago, it was a 9-point game in favor of Fresno State. They've given up 7 points here in the last 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Just when we talked about whether or not they can close it. Blackwell, a big 3 attempt, no good, no foul, and it goes to Johnson. Possession arrow belongs to Fresno State. How's it going to end tonight in Reno? Blackwell, nothing on the perimeter. 8 to go. Williams, 2-point game. Williams, the senior, for the lead. The 3, no good. Robinson, the rebound.
Different stops, and I love his style. He's very hands-on in practice. Matter of fact, won his 600th game against New Mexico when they played in Reno. 155 games won here at New Mexico when Alfred was the head coach. Malawach lost it. Good hands by Harris. Jazz Johnson, the leading duo in scoring in the Mountain West. Johnson came up short on his three-point attempt, as now Nevada is 2 of 8 in their three-point attempts. Hendricks from way downtown. It's a good core of freshmen for this Wolfpack team, too. You mentioned Himes, Zane Meeks, and Kane Milling, the freshman from France as well. Good road ahead for Coach Alfred. Another three ball goes down.
Contain the three-pointers. We've got to be inside out on offense ourselves. Play good transition defense. Find a way to score inside, but contain the threes of Nevada.
Whoa, what a sweet move for Jake Watt. Vance Jackson leading the charge with his team down by 3 under 6.5 minutes to go here in half number 1. Jackson lets a three fly. Tie ball game.
He's the one that got fouled. I think they wanted to travel, rather. I think he's the one that got fouled. No call, but it led to a three.
Nevada dropping into a 2-3 zone. McQuatch Malawach trying to go over the
that gets you the buckets.
14 points for Zane Meeks, his first 2-point field goal of the game. Jackson, Euro steps, got two guys in the corner over there. Zane Martin, and one.
It's about Coach Altenberger when you get in front of him, as he is intense, and you know they're going to grind and play defense.
Speaking of grinding and going to the floor, Hardy.
You're watching Jalen Harris, you get a sense that he's being extremely patient.
True long, missing badly. Tillman the offensive board, and he's fouled. Hines coming over, picks up the... Coleman the trigger behind the basket. Antonio. They continue to struggle from the outside now.
Extremely aggressive, knows he has a matchup he likes. Takes Antonio down low and finishes.
Steve Alford's team has their biggest lead now. In the corner, Tillman, the former Ute, can't connect. Inside, Schiebel. They needed that. And the big man converts. The scene
close a couple times, right?
Shooting just 41%. Hardy out to Tillman. Antonio, straightaway three. That's the spot. Got it. For Harris on that trip. And they are just 5 for 11 from the stripe so far in this one. Hamilton on the roll is fouled. Reyes checks in for Himes after his third personal. Hardy for three. Back iron. Long rebound into the hands of Harris. Harris has been so good of late. He's 4 for 11 from the field now. 0 for 5 from distance in this one. Good ball movement here. Mitru Long. Antonio, good look at a three. Misses on that one. It'll stay with UNLV.
It is
Coleman looking for somebody. Going to have to baseball pass it into the backcourt to Antonio. One possession game. It was a 2-point game at halftime. Mitru Long lost the handle. A chance to grab the advantage. Hamilton for three in the lead. No. Rebound Blair. They'll keep possession.
Easy. And we know how hard it is to score. But he just kind of goes about his business and gets it done.
Here's Antonio. Hardy on the wing. Cut off baseline.
Great help.
Schiebel's doubled. Antonio. Good fake. Three on the way. No. Zuzwa the rebound. We're tied again.
Absolutely. Just 6 points, but none bigger than that bucket right there for Lindsey Drew.
Ben Hardy and Hamilton most of the way for UNLV. They've gotten a good effort from the outside from Antonio with this one under a minute to go. Here's their star with the basketball. Hamilton against Harris, and he loses it out of bounds. Bounces it off him against Zuzwa. Misses badly on that jumper. Blair gets the loose ball.
That's what you can't have happen if you're in Nevada. You play good defense, force a tough shot.
Coleman for three. Short. And Drew has the rebound. It's Nevada back in front. Hamilton's been the go-to guy. Hardy's been big, especially in the second half and overtime. Here goes Hamilton over Harris. Short. Tipped out of bounds. Nevada's basketball.
have a kid that's a natural scorer, averaging 16 for Nevada over the course of this year.
Here's Seneca Knight. He gets picked off by Jack.
Started in his place and done a pretty darn good job. He's averaging 17 points in the last 4 games, coming off a 15-point game.
Joe, there's no shortage of guys who can score for Nevada. Lindsey Drew, who's maybe a 15-point ball game against Air Force, a blowout win for the Wolfpack.
Boy, they laid a licking on Air Force, 88-54. They've been outstanding all year. The leading scoring team in the league in conference games is the Wolfpack.
Ivy kicks it to Knight. Knight's 3 is good. And
now what you're seeing now, one of the factors in San Jose winning at home over the Wolfpack is they out-rebounded them, Drew, in that game. Not badly, but they did out-rebound.
Seneca Knight back of the iron, no go. And they've had children since then, but mom and dad, 2 terrific players at SMU, but mom wears the mantle of best player in the family.
Well, and I would agree. That's a great story about college balls badly by 34, but they're having a little trouble making it go in.
Pretty good look from Zuzwa off the feed from Harris. And Seneca Knight's had trouble getting it to go in. That's when you had gotten emotional talking about Coach Knight. That was blocked. It was out of anger that he didn't recruit you out of Southern Indiana, right?
Well, you know, he got to Indiana and Denny Crum got to Louisville at the same time. And I didn't know either one of them, so I elected to go to Brunswick Junior College. Remember, right before we left for that last break, I was talking about the Spartans' bad transition defense, and that is another example. You've got to get back, as I always told my team, there's 5 of them, 3 great perimeter scores we talked about with Johnson, Harris, and Zuzwa, but they do such a great job of finding each other, too. All 3 of them great passers, and not a selfish bone between the 3 of them, as you just saw.
Drew at the... See, Drew, this is the free throw, 31-24. Excuse me, 31-22, 9-point lead. Seneca Knight, pretty quiet so far. The leading scorer, number 13 for the Spartans.
Knight only 1 of 6 from the field. Now, he's made a couple nice hustle plays. There he makes one go in. 1 for 5 points off of turnovers in the first half. The Spartans add 2 more to that in the first possession.
Omari Moore has it. He's a freshman, and not a good pass to start the second half. That long jumper.
Yeah, they pronounce it correct.
Okay, I understand.
We go by kind of a different dictionary there, as you have grown to know.
And you especially. Seneca Knight, and he gets tangled up for a moment.
Spartans, I was going to say, Drew, now 1 for 11 this half. For a long time in the NBA and continues to coach in the NBA. So again, very, very good basketball pedigree.
Fading away, Seneca Knight.
And the Wolfpack bench trying to call timeout immediately to get him out of the game. I'm sure. Boy, talk about a nice step back.
And the 3 players coming back from last year's team that was coached by Eric Musselman. Not a whole lot from last year's team remaining. There were a couple guys like Jalen Harris who sat out last year as transfers, but Jazz Johnson really the only guy who got significant minutes. Lindsey Drew was out all last year with an injury. Zuzwa only played 6 minutes a game as Lavelle Scott.
How about the young uprising team that Nico Medved has at Colorado State? TJ Alzerberger's done a great job at UNLV. Leon Rice at Boise. So, I mean, yeah, there are some teams. And now, San Diego State, too, they can't get injured. You got to remember, Nathan Menza was an elite shot that he's unable to score. He's doing mid-ranges. He hits 3s. He posts ups. He gets ISOs. He gets screens set for him all the time along the baseline. I mean, he is certainly a professional basketball player prospect.
Joyce traveled. The double team came over. So, coming up in just under a minute of game time here in Reno. Morris trying to get something going here before the halftime buzzer. Drawing the card.
He was also a good defender there, too. And now he's a 2-time player of the week. He just came off player of the week honors by the Mountain West. And at this rate, looks like he might be getting that a second time.
Well, we talked about Zane Meek's parents earlier, but how about the legacy that Harris has to live up to, and his mom, Carly, who was a Hall of Famer for SMU, was the WAC Player of the Year in her time.
Another threat on the floor that can knock down threes. And here's a good shot by a big shooter. Yeah, this is crazy how cold they are. They're getting some great looks. I mean, they're drawing up some good stuff. They're running their motion well, just not knocking down the threes they normally do.
5.5 minutes left in this opening half. Winner of this will move into second place in the Mountain West.
Jalen Harris beats his man. It's going to be a strong athletic finish. You got to have somebody there to contest the shot, or at least maybe even try to take a charge, preferably.
34-14. Boise State been in control all half.
Great pass. Look at this ball movement. Look at that. It's a bunch of hockey assists there. Everybody's looking to help each other out.
And an offensive board to boot for Key Jab. Well, stacked.
Yep.
There's 4 or 5 teams that are consistently in or around the top 10 in the country. Back to action out of the timeout. Alston trying to run to the rim. Fouled before he puts up the shot.
Big-time players make big-time plays when they're needed.
It's an 11-0 run overall going back to the end of the first half.
Boise State has to come with the same fiery and mentality that they had in the first half, as Nevada has come out swarming.
3 on the way. Alston knocks it down. Winner will join Colorado State in a tie for second. Harris missing the 3. Rebound corralled by Boise State. Here comes Dickinson and the Broncos. Alston left alone from NBA range. Too strong. Offensive board again. One of the top shot blockers in the conference. Will be on the bench for a while now for the Wolfpack. That's not going to help things. Boise State in black, Nevada in white. Sam Farber, former NCAA head coach Richie Schuler here with you in Boise. Winner will move into a tie for second place in the Mountain West Conference. And now the home team, as has happened most of his conference schedule.
Conference-wide, not so sure. I mean, obviously, we've seen a lot of teams that have had great conference or great records at home. But throughout the conference, yeah, this is incredible. I like how you said earlier, these teams are cannibalizing themselves.
I mean, you look at San Diego State, and ordinarily in a one big conference, which right now, according to Joe Lunardi on bracketology, is rebound by George. And in an era where we seem to fill in the draft class based off high school juniors, he's someone who was on no one's radar entering college play, and now has turned himself into a draft prospect.
Yeah, possessions. I feel like Nevada might have rushed it just a little bit. So now time is on the side of Boise State. Double-digit lead. They can take their time. They're still going to have to attack, but watch about the 10-second mark. They'll start going at it. Look to get into the paint.
It's been 3 years and 11 months since the last time Boise State beat Nevada. Wolfpack has dominated this conference the last 2 years.
Both sides today. I mean, Edwards just knocked one down for CSU, and then Himes right there.
Talked about transition D. It's been about the long-range shooting thus far. Here's Carvacho. Skip pass. Good ball movement to Moore from the wing. Got another one.
You guys might know a few of these. Alonzo Mourning, Draymond Green. You passed those guys for their college careers this year.
They could play a little bit. Himes with a great effort defensively. Almost came up with a steal there for Garrotti into the corner. Thistlewood in and out. Tipped by Himes out of bounds.
67-61. A lot of the times Nevada was collapsing. They didn't really have an outside shooter knock things down. He's just doing a little bit of everything.
Here he is on cue. Can't convert. That would have given
the theme so far. Guys that not necessarily have hit threes have stepped up when their number's called.
This team is feeling it from long range after hitting 17 against New Mexico in their last game. Thistlewood against Harris. 2-point jumper is good, just inside the arc. Carvacho with the rebound. Every trip big now for the Rams down the stretch.
Yeah, and if you're CSU, it's not necessarily time to panic. Just 7 points with 6.5 to go. But I think they really want to look to get to that foul line, pick up some fouls, and stop the game. Pick up points from the free throw line.
And Steve
for the 6'11" Carvacho right there that came over to help.
Double figures for 18 straight games now. Jalen Harris. Here's Thistlewood for three. Got it. Where would they be without?
Guards have been coming in so hard, and he's had to step up and leave his man. Here, he just stands there, takes the charge. Huge play.
Trying to grab the lead here when you're a minute to go. Roddy backing down Harris, and he's fouled. He's still tied. Huge miss. The Rams could go 2 for 1 here. They're taking their time in this offensive set. Roddy against Harris, takes him to the rim.
17-point lead. 8 of 14 is Nevada from distance. Hendricks forced it. And here comes New Mexico. New Mexico led by Zane Martin's 23. Vontae Hendricks has got 19. Keith McGee's got 11. That's not a great pass, but somehow it gets through. McGee into the corner. And a turnover.
Really like him. He can score from the behind the arc. He can get to the lane and make plays. If he does that, it's going to be a tough night for the Rebels.
And here's UNLV's most explosive player, Bryce Hamilton. That shot altered a bit by. In his last 12 games, he's shooting nearly 50% from outside.
Amazing. Talking about it time and time again is going to be a recurring motif. I'm going to say it all game long. Force them to put the ball on the floor. But that they need to get it going because this crowd is ready to erupt, and Nevada is responding.
They go right to Hamilton, who leans into the contact and draws.
You can't leave this guy. You got to force him to put the ball on the floor and score over taller players too open.
Blair one-on-one with Robinson. Coleman kicks Hardy, delivers.
Back at you. Nothing you do on the backside.
John gets fed. That foul to Lindsey Drew, his third. Hardy. Antonio hasn't taken a shot in a while, and he drains it.
How about the fake? Need any type of assist coming off that ball screen. If Johnson and Harris are scoring like that, especially at home, Vegas got to be careful.
Hamilton into the lane, didn't have much of a plan, and Chung cleans it up.
Absolute mistake that got caught in the switch. Harris, very smart, drove the ball on him.
Now Blair's going to sub in. A bit of a prayer shot off Harris. He has had so many touches.
Bad foul. That's
great games. He's a really good player. And this is a bit of a bounce-back game for him.
But they are playing a quality opponent who never loses at home.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, let's give Nevada some respect here. It's not the easiest game for a freshman to come in and play with a full house.
Antonio, deep three off, and Drew's got the board. Been a clean but intense physical game.
It has, and credit Nevada for picking it up and bringing the fight. How about that? Right. They're bringing the fight to the running Rebels.
Hardy contested, Rainbow made.
Sweet a little bit. Nevada was ready, spread him out, got the easy bunny.
UNLV has one timeout and a dead ball means media under 4 minutes.
Starting to get a little bit out of hand. They need to score the basketball. They need some threes is what they need.
Where can the triple come from? Tillman gets